Good morning, Krishna.
Good morning, Om.
Welcome for this interview on entrepreneurial session.
I hope we will have a mutually beneficial session on sharing what are your thoughts about the entrepreneurship and how will entrepreneurship get benefit of the program. What do you think are the elements of entrepreneurship?
Today, I think basically any entrepreneur believes that they should know everything. For example, when I say everything, they need to know about marketing, they need to know about finance, they have to be extremely hardworking, and they have to also know if they are into any technical production, also technology. And basically, many entrepreneurs believe marketing drives business. So that's what is looking as a composition of the current entrepreneurship.
What are your thoughts about specialists taking over entrepreneurship?
Most of the time, when people have specialized in certain area, let's say a doctor in cardiology or an accountant, a chartered accountant in accounting, internal auditing, or a human resource manager training or consulting, they basically believe that specialized knowledge is good enough for them to get into business. Need not be, because business, as we know, needs many other different things apart from a specialist knowledge. So when they get into business, depending fully on the specialized skill to drive the success, some of them do not reap the success as much as they desire to do.
Okay, understanding from your earlier statement, how is that the affordability for the first-time entrepreneurs?
Good question. I think for the starting entrepreneurs, a good approach would be to have number of advisors who have been there doing great jobs in specialized field. And today outsourcing is rampant, depending on what you want to have as in-house and what you want to outsource. You better outsource, otherwise you're not going to succeed. Meaning to say that if you're a specialist, you may outsource your marketing in terms of lead generation to an external person. You may have to finally go there yourself to close the sale. But lead generation is cannot something that you may probably want to spend time on. So that's a good route, and today many of them are doing it, especially with the growing economy with less brick and mortar office, people operating out of coffee shops. So that's a good way to possibly do the business.
Okay. What are the skills that is required for a today entrepreneur?
You need to have combinations of skill, but then you are always good at something which is very particular to you.
Okay.
Right? And that's to an extent we discussed a few minutes back about specialists, right?
Yes.
Need not also be. There could be someone who is so strong in growing a business without any specialist knowledge that he may tend to drive the business hard for growth. And when he does that, specialists working for him may find it difficult to tolerate him because of the communication differences that they may have, and also the fact that a person who is probably growing a business is more looking at what can he achieve rather than what the knowledge can do for him. So that's what is all about. So there is a different variety to different people.
How do you identify the varieties?
Today the new entrepreneurship talks about people having a specific DNA. They call it the entrepreneurship DNA. This is something that has been discovered by a guy called Joe Abraham in US. And what the entrepreneurship DNA is all about is classifying each entrepreneur's DNA. What is their primary DNA that will drive business? That's the previous question that we had. So essentially, the primary DNA drives what you want to do, followed by the secondary and the tertiary DNA.
Is there a scientific way to identify the DNA?
It's more a tool which has a questionnaire for you to answer. So, is it a validated tool? Yes, it's a validated tool. Has it been found effective? Yes, it's been found effective. And there have been many entrepreneurs who have found useful. And today, many of the funding organizations look at the entrepreneurial DNA before they can do venture capital funding. Right? So, they do that. So, it's becoming slowly worldwide an important ingredient for people to look for venture capital, to look for bank loans, etc. This is very important, because that's what will tell someone whether you are in the right mix of people who can drive your business to growth.
Can you please elaborate more on the scientific tool that you described?
It basically classifies the DNA of an entrepreneur into 4 quadrants B being the builder, O being the opportunist, S being the specialist, I being the innovator. And when you run this tool, it's basically called DNA. Each one of us will have a combination of DNA. It's not that one DNA will be absent in one of us. All of us will have all the DNAs at varying percentages. So the percentage where you have more is what drives your primary DNA. For example, if you are an innovator, then you will have more innovator DNA in you. And if an innovator gets into a business, he is going to be more motivated by the technical skills, knowledge, new knowledge, innovation, etc., and may not be too driven to sell his product and make money. It's at this stage that the builder comes over and grows his business to the next level, and an opportunist steps in to see what opportunities he can create that the builder has created to sell into the market. So that's how this 4 DNA works together.
What are the strengths of the DNA you just quoted?
A strength for a builder would be more in terms of starting a business and growing it to size. An opportunist would be able to take a business built by a builder and look around opportunities available to grow it back in, grow the business that builder has started. A specialist would come in and bring in a specialized knowledge. Example would be an accountant, a HR professional, a tax consultant. They would bring in and add value to them. An innovator could get into more research and development. It could be brand innovation, it could be product innovation, it could be service innovation. So they come with different thoughts that they bring in. So each one of them bring in different types of strength to the table. So it is the combination of these 4 elements that actually drive us to grow a business.